G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by old man host himself, Algared. How you doing, buddy?
Always alive.
We just did our thoughts on ISC and kicking it straight off onto the Ship Showdown stuff. So, I got a couple of messages about this morning, waking me up about it. So, yeah, Pissed Off Pete, this is for you, turning me into Pissed Off Execute. Ugh, can't even say my own name now. But yeah, yeah, he woke me up early. Where's the Aussie boys?
I gotta admit, considering how tired you are and how grumpy you usually are when you're so tired, you've been very placid.
I think that's because I'm half asleep. Can you tell? Look at my eyes, man. Right. Look at my eyes.
No, I need to get him half asleep.
Yeah, all the time. I didn't have my cup of tea either because I was just like, yeah, I'll go straight back to bed after this episode. But now we're doing another one, so I'm like, anyway. Right. But yeah, so Pissed Off Pete was like, "Where are the Aussie boys? I need my information." I'm like, "Dude, it's 3 a.m. We're all asleep. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, so let's kick it over to the
Pissed Off Pete. Here we are.
Yeah, I was at the time. I was actually toying with just chucking on my dressing gown and leaving my beanie on that I sleep in, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll do it with my sleeping get up just for a skit," you know, at the time. But I didn't in the end. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. It would have been a great visual for everyone. That's what I'm saying. Right.
It would have been a scary visual for everyone.
So we were talking about this a little bit earlier. So it looks like they're doing a new vote every 24 hours, which is previous years they've done it every 48. So it looks like we're going to chew through this pretty quickly. Like you blink and you miss it type of thing, and you won't get your vote in. But again, it's almost, I didn't say this publicly, but I did say it on the Discord. I was pretty much expecting they were taking 2 from every category. I said it's either going to go 1 or 2 ways. It'll be completely random. Oh, sorry, 1 or 3 ways. Completely random. They'll pick specifically where they want it to go so it kills off certain things, or they'll just put every category up against each other, and that's what they do.
And we've got category up against each other.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, going through this then, Algared, some of them, as I said, I thought this is the one they weren't going to do. This is the first one I actually brought up when I talked about it on the Discord, because it makes it really predictable, right? In a lot of cases, you can almost knock half these off, right? So unfortunately, and I'm going to be cruel here, right? And just say it literally. So things like the ground vehicles, now they may get up, but they won't go to the top. Right? Same things with racing, because it's just not as popular as other categories and stuff like that. So you can kind of predict with somewhat accuracy that
if the community wanted to stuff with CIGs,
exactly. Yeah, we have to talk about that too.
An Ursa and an Lex.
Yeah. So
$250 ships in the final thing. That would be a nice thing to make that everyone can get the ships and get the skins and get LTI tokens. All
right, so let's go through. Spirit versus the old MSR. This is going to be really interesting. So straight off the bat, I'm going to show my bias right here. The only ship I own in the entire getup this time is the MSR. So I have a bias for it, but it's like my head says MSR, but my heart says Spirit. And I think the Spirit will win it, basically because it's a newer ship. And I think you'd agree with me on that one.
Yeah, well, I have voted.
Right.
And the Spirit is 11,000 versus 6,000 at the moment.
That's kind of what I expected.
So yeah, I think the Spirit's gonna take it.
So yeah, okay, cool. All right, we're going to the next one then, which is the Ursa vs STV. I think the Ursa's got to take that. I know a lot of people brought STVs, but again, like the other thing about the Ursas is often the skins work on other Ursas as well. Yep. So if you get it for the medvac, it'll most likely work on the other Ursa as well, which I think is kind of cool. And it may even, I'm not going to say it will, but it may even work on the Lynx, because that did happen with some of the other skins.
Yep.
So we'll see.
I'd like to think the Ursa will take it, mainly because it is apart from the 890 jump, it is the only ship with medical. And that makes it, it's a cheap ship that does medical, and yeah.
So we go into the Origin lineup here. Now it's really interesting. I'm actually surprised the 600i is even in it for a couple of reasons, because the 400i I thought being newer would make it up there, but it kind of shows you the clientele we're dealing with when it comes to this vote. These votes are generally, we're in a lull time period. It is the veteran and the hardcore people, and there is a lot of those people that really like the Origin ships, and I'm just surprised the 600i is even in there, to be honest. It is now tied for the, you remember how they rebelled against the Carrack and the MSR? It now has as many skins of those, and if it wins another one, it is now the leader, right? So by the whole definition of rebelling against that, it'll never get another one until they at least get one. So in my book, I think the 890 jump is the one to vote for here, and I know you're going to say that as well, because it doesn't have a skin.
Yep.
At all.
I think in the past, the 890 jumpers, they've never put the 600i and the 890 jump against each other. So this is going to make the Origin fan base choose.
Do you think they'll choose with their head rather than their heart, so to speak, and they'll pick the 890 jump because it doesn't have the skin? That's what I'd put to you. Being you're an Origin owner, I am not, so I put that to you.
My head and heart say 890 jump, because I love the ship. I don't like the current 600i layout. I think it's
But do you think the reason why the 600i, it was like last year, I think the reason why the 600i got in last year is the same as this year, is the rework. People are still hanging on to that rework a year after it was mentioned.
People are still hanging on to the Caterpillar and the Phoenix in the hopes of the rework and things getting done. But I think that's it. But I think I'd like to think the 890 jump gets it, because I think it's a better ship in terms of what you can do with it. I know it's got so much missing, but it's got so much. Yeah. But it can do more than a 600.
So as a non-Origin owner, I will also be encouraging people to buy the 890 jump, and that is for a troll. And I'll tell you why.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So basically, I was showing this to Algared before. If you go into the ship upgrades, by the way, you can also, we'll talk about this more, but you can literally fly every ship in the game at the moment. We'll go through that in a minute. But also, they've made them all available for sale, except the 890 jump.
Yeah.
So I think it's hilarious if they put that, if that goes up there, it affects their sales. And I think what they'll do, Algared, I said this to you before, I think they'll put like a small allotment of them up for sale if that happens. And I would like to think that they will do that regardless. Honestly, they should have done that
regardless. But
on the day the vote goes up for the 600i and the 890 jump, that's what I would like to see. Even if they only put like 100 of them up for sale or something like that, that would have been a tip of the hat. Thanks very much. You know, so yeah. But I just find that kind of funny. But again, if you don't have any what do you call it? Ship. No, it's literally ship in the race. I was going to say dog in the race, but it's ship in the race. Go for the 890 jump so we get a skin for it. That's where my brain goes, right?
Yep. Now for the free fly.
Yep.
Is the 890 jump a ship you can get on the free?
Yes, but we're talking about it after this.
All right,
so yeah, because I want to do this first, and then we'll come back to the free fly. Right. So the underdog one, which is the one me and Algared are kind of been back on, which is the Terrapin. But we're also going to do an episode this weekend on the Gladiator. So we're going to do a ship scrutiny on the Gladiator. And ironically, that vote will be over by the time you see that episode.
Yeah.
We did plan it poorly, unfortunately.
But
who do you reckon is going to take that? I know your heart is with the Gladiator, but I think realistically the Terrapin will take that. You reckon?
Yeah, look, when we were first looking at which ship to vote for, whether it was the MPUV tractor or the Gladiator, I was more for the Gladiator, but I didn't think the Gladiator would get a shoe in.
We always try and take ourselves out of it too, and try and think what the community would vote for of the ones that we think of. So we try to cross pollinate, and that's why we, I don't know.
But it was afterwards when we were thinking about the Terrapin, and we both went, oh,
how do we miss that?
It wasn't. Oh, I really want to do this. It was, oh yeah, that's the one we should have done.
Yeah. We just missed it. Yeah.
So I for this one, I don't care which one wins. But if I was going deep hard, I'd probably go Terrapins, like just over the Gladiator. But I love both of them.
And that's the interesting thing. Whoever wins out of those two Origin ships, they go up against one of those two. And sadly, I think with the number of people that vote with Origin, they're going to lose. I'd love to see the Terrapin or Gladiator get up to get a skin. But But yeah, I'll really rebel if the 890 jump doesn't get it there. If the 890 jump gets up there, I'll be like, okay, I'm happy. You know, like I don't care who gets a skin then. But if it's like the 600i, I'm gonna be livid at that point. But yeah.
If the 890 jump, like 890 jump doesn't have a skin, Gladiator doesn't have a skin, the Terrapin doesn't have a skin. So any of those three, in terms of getting a skin, I don't care.
Right, on this next
Gladiator, Terrapin, both awesome ships in lore, both great. Yeah, I love them. I love those two ships. I can't put it any other way.
All right, next two in the racing, I'm going to defer to you a fair bit on this one. I know you looked into it a fair bit before we started, so go at it.
Well, I was looking at the chat, and I'm just going to see if I can find the discussion that I was looking at before. And I've lost it. Damn it! I hate it when
well,
I do
you're going to have to go from memory.
All right, got it. So we were talking about the speeds of the ships.
So the two ships that are in there are the Fury LX and the M50, just so people are on the same page.
Yeah. So Fury LX, $55 ship versus the M50 $100 ship. When you look at the data, the M50 just seems to trash it across the board.
Makes sense. It's twice as
when I was talking to Echo a bit earlier on from Anzio Racing, when the Fury LX first came out, he did tests in atmosphere and in space, pretty much on every planet and every racetrack. And his analysis was top speed of a Fury LX is very low in atmosphere. It's slow around and in the Harmony ring, which is on Crusader. It's very slow. But it makes up for having the most powerful maneuvering thrusters in games. So when it's in space, it wins. Or if it's on a track that's got lots of turns, it can win. Acceleration charts describe it both in atmosphere and in space. Right, so you see that both in both fields. But on the tracks, it needs a lot of turns for the LX to make up gains that the other ships have in the top speed. He really likes it, even though it's got the slow speed, because for anyone wanting to learn racing, he actually thinks it's a really good ship, and you get a really nice view out of the canopy. So that's the LX for you.
Okay.
But it's not as fast. I don't think it's as fast overall. When I have a brief look at the data, it doesn't seem to have the speed of the M50. But
realistically, from someone that doesn't have a ship in the race, I think the Fury LX will take it just because there were so many of those things sold when it came out. But if I'm going head versus heart type of thing, I'd vote the M50 because, again, it's another ship that doesn't have a skin. Where we know when the Fury came out, it came with a bunch of skins. So again, if you don't have one in the race, vote the M50. If you do have a Fury, then vote for the ship that you get a skin for. It's just that simple. Because that let's be honest, that's how most people vote. They kind of, like I said at the start, they go, what ships do I own? Give me the free skin. Blah blah blah. Like that's how. Let's be honest. This is a popularity contest, and that's why we've called it the Shit Showdown for so many years, because it's that's probably what I titled the video, the Shit Showdown. For
the comments, I'll start now. For the comments, if you're someone who is into racing, which of those two do you want to see win?
Yeah, that's a good one as well.
Say it in the comments.
And actually, I could say that across the board, and actually, this is probably a good time to do it. Okay, so I just got it back from Lemming. We are doing a competition for the voting. So once this timer runs out on this very first one, your time will be out. So if you happen to see this in the next however long in the video as we're recording it right now, it's 18 hours. So if you get to see it in the next 18 hours, you can go onto our Discord, and if you put in your votes and you get all the votes correct, you can win. I think it's a 100i we put on there to give away.
I think that was it.
Yeah. So go in there, and there's a Ship Showdown brackets channel that you can find on our Discord, and feel free to jump in there and join, and you can. And I've given Lemming the 100i to give away. Thanks to CRG. Comes from CRG though. Right. We're up to the heavy duty Reclaimer versus Vulture. My brain goes, look, I own both of them. I prefer the Reclaimer, but then if I step back and go, the Reclaimer's got a lot less skins. The only skins we have ever seen for that was the very first Best in Show, that ghastly white and pink one. and we got 3 for subscriber flare one time. On the other side, the Vultures got last year's Best in Show, which so it kind of puts them equal on a Best in Show term, but it also has a lot more updated skins. It also got that really cool graffiti one recently, so I would kind of put that on the back burner. But realistically, it's a smaller ship, so more people will own it. So I think the Vulture will take the vote based on logical thought process. What do you think of that one?
If I was looking at value in terms of which one can make the most money based on purchase price, I'd go for Reclaimer because it's significantly cheaper in cash value versus how much cargo and stuff it can carry. But again, the Vulture is a solo person ship. It's a ship that most people can take out. It is a fun little ship to fly. The recent rework or the recent modification of the way they did the salvage actually gave it more cargo capacity and made things a little easier for it. So you weren't constantly having to run back to your hangar. So that made quality of life better. So I think, it'll probably get up.
They're making it purchasable in game next patch too. Finally, it's taken way too long. Right. Sulian versus Banu Defender. I think it's pretty obvious on this one, just due to cost. You're literally like, one's like a third of the price of the other, and they sold a bucket ton of those last year. It's a very cool little ship, very quirky, probably feels more alien than the Defender, and I think they sadly both suffer from what you and I talked about, is how they have those really cool high detailed skins, and they never transfer over to their skins, unfortunately. So therefore, in a sad way, I don't hope either of them fully go right away, because I think it's a waste. But out of the two, I would have to go Sulian. What about yourself, mate?
Of the two, I really do like the Crab, the Defender. But the Sulian just, it's totally unique. It's got a better feel. It's fighter versus freighter. It's really what that one is. And I think the freighter is a cooler ship.
I would say hybrid and fighter. That's how I would call it. But yeah, I'm going to be honest though. If you actually kind of look at these last 4, these are the most combat-y ones in the entire list, right? And I think that's why all 4 of these kind of go into the final bracket, because they want these 4 to knock each other out, so to speak. And moving on to this will become really evident in the last 2 brackets here with the Lightning and the Mark II Hornet. I think whoever wins this one probably takes the whole thing, quite honestly.
I think the Lightning is one that a lot of people will vote for. A lot of people did pick it up in that competition.
Yeah, there was more art for this clearly by a country mile than anything else. Yeah, it was like 50% F8 Lightning and then 50% everything else. It was nuts. So yeah.
I think the F8 Lightning takes it.
Yeah, I do too. I think the F8 Lightning will just go all the way through. That said, this was really cool. Like I really do like the look of the new Hornet, and if this beats it, it's because the outliers and people that don't own it vote for it, as in they went, I want this because it's cheaper, blah 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 blah. But if everyone that votes for the F8 that loves the F8, then it'll take it. Again, these are really hard to predict. Like, I don't think we've ever done one of these videos and gone right. Like not even 50% right. Like, that's how hard these are to predict. Because you just don't know the outliers. And that is one of the cool things about this. This does tell you the heartbeat of the community. And that is what's so enlightening about the Ship Showdown from a content creator's perspective.
Yeah. So if you're out to screw the sail, you make sure that the Fury LX or the M50 go through, and you look at the Ursa, and you go those two $50 ships, or a $50 ship and a $50 vehicle. That if you're after the total cheapest thing that everyone can own and have, but yeah, it's up in the air, and I don't mind.
Yeah. And the other thing is that we've seen before, for example, the ones we talked about that didn't get a skin, because they have to put them over to the new skin system to get them to work, we find that they actually get new skins at the next sale. So you'll find at AIE or wherever they come out. So say the 890 jump, the M50, the Gladiator, the Terrapin, any of those that don't have skins, they'll get more skins. And that's one of the reasons why we recommend them so much. If you don't have a horse, or so to speak, in the race, or the ship in a race, vote for ones that you know, so everyone gets some flavour. And yeah.
And for CIG, you know, yes, if those small ships that don't have skins get up, when you actually produce more skin, that's going to be more cash, because people will buy the skins because they want to be able to put skins on that's going to help them be different from anyone else. And so
Algared's hoping the 890 jump wins. He's also hoping that this year's AIE is gold. So
gold, that's right.
Just wear gold 890 jump, bling bling. All right, let's move on to the free flyers. So it is kind of interesting. They, correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron, but I don't remember there being a free fly ever on Why the Vote was on. Do you? I don't. Maybe I'm remembering this completely wrong, but I'm just getting this thing where I think there might have been free flies, but I don't think they had every ship from the vote. Like for example, I don't remember the 890 jump ever being in a free fly. Which is kind of interesting.
I thought they've done a free fly or made them available for the last half dozen or so. I can't remember if they've made the free fly for everything, but then they may have, and I just can't recall. But it's nice to see all of the ships being available for people to test and fly, and that makes
the vote good too, because you can go in every day and go, I don't know what I should vote for. I've never flown X before.
Yeah,
and now you can go in and actually have an informed opinion. It's fantastic.
You can go into the 890 jump and walk around the 890 jump and go, oh yeah, okay, and then go inside the 600 and walk around the 600 explore it and go, which one has the better interior at the moment? And
then you can go buy the game too if you want.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing, I don't know if you've noticed this, Algared, the Aurora's not there anymore.
No. Well, we talked about that the other week.
Yeah, we did.
The Aurora was missing as a standard ship purchase. It used to, for years, it was the be all and end all ship to start with, and then the Mustang was kind of the side. It's interesting that the C8X is now the upgraded starter ship.
I would hope eventually they offer all starters, like every single one in the game. That would be kind of cool. But yeah, I think the Aurora is showing its age a bit. That's what that tells me. Yeah, as we said at the time.
I think the Mustang's showing its age too.
I think they both are. Let's not beat around the bush. Like, that should be the cutter.
Yeah, I think the cutter would be the much better standard ship than the
But it's too close in price. It's too close in price to the Pisces. That's why it's not there.
And that's why you've got the two cheaper ships that
And they sold a lot of Pisces. Sorry, a lot of cutters. So that's why the Pisces is there, because it just hasn't sold as many as the cutter.
Yep. Yeah. And they'd sold a lot of Auroras, so that's probably why the Aurora's there. The Mustang's there.
So yeah. I think that's kind of interesting. So yeah, if you are unsure and you don't agree with what me and Algared have kind of thrown you there, feel free to jump in game and try them all out for yourself. It's a really, really rare but great opportunity to try out some ships, especially things like the 890 jump. That's not a thing that you see every day of the week. So the ability to get in and try, and by the way, these are some of the most popular ships in the game, if not the most popular, right? Like this whole thing is a popularity contest, right? So you've literally all 16 in there. I'd say not as popular as previous years because they're categorized, right? Like up until pre this year, they were the most popular 16 ships in the game. I don't think they can use that term anymore. I don't know if you agree with that, Aaron, but I don't think you can say they are the most popular. There's some of, but they're not the
some of the most popular ships. Certainly the most popular ships in each category.
Yes, but not the not the most popular ships in the game. But that's why they changed it, because it was really obvious. Because, for example, it was really dominated by combat ships. Like, well, to be honest, there was no Corsair.
Well, there's no Drake at all.
No, none at all. Like Drake. If you look at last year, Drake completely dominated it. because what it is Drake is obviously now like third or fourth in each category, and they've just been totally chopped off.
Yeah.
So I think that's the downside to it, because guess what? That's going to affect their sales with the everyday people, because everyday people love Drake. So yeah, I reckon this will change again next year. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It'll be very nice to see. So let us know in the comments what you think of the choices. If you fly the ships, which ships do you find the most enjoyable to fly, or the most economical to fly, or what reason do you like each particular ship, or what did you hate about each particular ship as you were trying it out?
Yeah, and just remember here, what I'm trying to show you off here is you don't have to buy the ship if you like it. You can buy just the CCU, so you could upgrade to it at a later date to save price increases, and also that removes the the compulsion to have to buy right now because it's available right now. You can just kind of buy and save up to it.
And so if you were after what's the most expensive ship that's available there at the moment, I imagine, is the 600i, or 600i. So if you wanted a 600i, go down to the 600i on the right hand side, and that'll tell you the normal price, and then find the ship that's got the closest price to it, and get the cheap CCU to it.
Yeah, you do one at the bottom. Why can't we do one on the top? No, it's okay. I'm just teasing you. So yeah, you could get something like the Ironclad. In this case, though, that's probably not a good example. Because there's not a lot of ships available at the moment. I'd probably go the Prowler, because the Prowler's out where the Ironclad is not. But yeah.
But the idea there is you can see the principle would be...
Yeah, the principle's still the same. CCU, you're paying for a fraction of... Like, you're only paying, what, $38 as opposed to
instead of
475,
And that becomes part of a chain, and so the next link to that chain would be a CCU to the Prowler from something else.
Yeah, you can buy those links in the chain at another date.
Yeah.
And lock in the ability to buy that ship. So all you would need to do is essentially get an LTI token, which is a really cheap starter ship, and then upgrade between the gap when you've got the cash and
Anyway.
We're going to get started used to not calling them CCUs anymore, because they're not anymore. Upgrades. They've changed them all to ship upgrades. And that's really thrown me off. All right, then. With that, then I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this episode. As Algared said about in the comments, just let us know your thoughts and what you're voting for. Again, if you want to kind of get officially involved with what Lemming's doing on the Discord, jump in to our Discord, and you can win yourself. If you happen to guess it all right, you get a 100 eyes. So
win-win situation for you.
Yeah. All right, then. He's been Algared. Oh wait, I'll do this thing. Always do it.
Yeah, I got it.
Like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you to everyone.
Subscribe, hit that bell.
And thank you to everyone that went an extra mile on Patreon at the end of the video. You have to excuse Algared, he's lagging. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. With that, then, he's been Algared.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens.